My name is Radhika, and I'm happy to be back with another episode of Teal Bites. Today, we have the pleasure of hosting Mrs. Sheetal Prateek, Director, Data Engineering, Data and Analytics for one of the largest European banks. Sheetal is a data leader who has enabled organizations to deliver business values from data. She has worked for around 21 years across banking, retail, and product development in data related technologies at large organizations and startups, working from global locations with teams based out of North America, Europe, and India. Her role encompasses leading and architecting products and platforms for data integrations, data governance, data cataloging, data quality, ETL development, and data migrations. She is a champion of data mesh and federated data governance. A very warm welcome to you, Sheetal. It's a pleasure to have you on Teal Bites today.
Thank you, Radhika, and thank you to Tealbites to have me here.
Great. Pleasure, Sheetal. So, Sheetal, we'll jump right in. So, today, given your background as a leader in data analytics, how are you leveraging data and analytics to drive decision making and innovation?
Thank you,
Go ahead.
Radhika, for the question. And this is actually, so data and analytics and decision making is actually the way of life, right? Rather than a technology for me personally. So what I believe is data and analytics or data primarily can be used to interpret information for strategic decision making and
Right.
innovation, rather than relying on intuitions, feelings, and guesswork.
Correct.
This approach helps organizations to achieve more informed decisions, which is based on evidences, and therefore the predictability of successful outcomes increases.
Correct. Yeah.
What I don't want to say that this is replacing intuition, right? Because we are not replacing human beings. Data and analytics doesn't replace intuition or feelings, but it is used to back it up with lot of information so that the predictability is increased for successful outcome. We can give customers better experience. It
Yeah.
gives confidence behind the decision so the resources can be pulled in more easily. And
Right.
it also helps challenge sometime, right? So sometimes our intuitions and experience could be challenged because it is so subjective to the background of the people who are taking those decisions. So a
Correct.
good data and analytics backs up and helps us to challenge ourselves that are we taking the right decision,
Right.
right? So now let's also understand, right, how this happens, primarily what goes behind the scene, right? And we as consumers on everyday basics, and we're all on social media, we are all on e-com, right?
Yeah.
We are all already using the outcomes of data and analytics, right, to increase our experience. And if there's an organization which is not using, then we will not have a good customer experience. We tend to, switch our preferences in the apps, right? But let's understand what goes behind the scene in the engineering world. So
Okay.
there are primarily three parts of the data manipulation that goes on, right? So or the treatment on data that goes on behind the scenes from a technology perspective. So first
Okay.
is data collection and integration. This is more of, scraping the relevant information, whatever businesses you are in, either in retail or banking or in healthcare. You have a team which scrapes the data and does the data collection, integrates it. Then the
Right.
second part is data analysis and visualization, and I'll touch upon a little bit on all of them. So once you have the relevant data from all your sources, then you treat the data. You transform the data. You do a lot of ETLs. You do migrations. You do data warehousing. You do a lot of things there to
Yeah.
be able to convert that data into useful information and then visualize this information. Once you have the visualization, then you use this for your decision making. Now, decision making, and we are now using it, further for AI, for ChatGPT, for Meta, everything. The underlying platform, the underlying soul of everything is nothing but the data. So you
Right.
use it for decision making and also innovation, right? So I'll talk about innovation a bit and how I see it and how I've learned it across the organization. So this is how we treat it. So now I'll go to each of them, what goes behind the scene. But before that, I'll touch a little bit on innovation, right? So what is innovation? Innovation is breaking the constraints. So whatever you're doing, whatever is your business value chain, right? You understand what are the constraints. And I keep on giving example of, aeroplane. When we didn't have the aeroplane, the primary mode of transport was road.
Right.
And there was certain speed that we could achieve. But somebody and Wright brothers thought that this friction constraints can be broken by having an alternate means of travel, which is air.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So somebody first recognize the constraint and then break the constraint. And that is how innovation keeps happening, making our life better. So nowadays, now we have so much maturity around data treatment. The data can be used to understand the constraints and then keep innovating it, right? Not only decision making, but also keep innovating. So now I'll go back quickly in what happens in each of these three layers. So data collection and integration. So we scrape the data using the various technologies from sources like social media, sensors, customer interactions, CRMs, ERPs, and n number of the data feeding systems. Right. Once we have the data, it is also important that at each node of our business value chain, the data quality, accuracy, and consistency is now much more important than ever. So whatever is the data, the same data is interpreted for giving the business outcome. Now, if the wrong data is there, a wrong outcome will come. So a right data is very important.
Yeah.
Then comes the data analysis and visualization. So here we have, very, very interesting parts. So first is descriptive analytics, which uses the data to understand the historical trends. Yeah. After that, once we have these trends, then we can identify patterns, right? So let's take any example. Suppose, Amazon, we buy things from Amazon and we are returning it, right? So the consumers across the country are returning certain products. Now, there are a lot of patterns that can be understood from the data. Example, what season we are returning, what kind of products we are returning, what is the reason of return in motion. So once these patterns are understood, then we use predictive analytics to forecast the outcomes. When we know that in particular season, a lot of returns are happening, then next year also we kind of assume that a lot of returns will happen or a lot of buys will happen, right? And with the festive season around the corner, all the e-coms are preparing for the outcomes this year.
Yeah.
Now, fourth is prescriptive analytics. So once you know what is the outcomes forecasted, then your recommendations, so business recommendations, your customer recommendations can be done using optimizations and simulation techniques, right? So each of these layers, we have various technologies that plays underneath. So then the recommendation actions are come, and across all of this are business intelligence tools, visualization tools, and dashboards and reports play an important part to help the corresponding technology and businthis teams operate at these layers. So this is what we are talking about, data visualizations and data analysis. Right. So once all of this is there and we do have recommended actions, we are now enabled to make decisions, right? Small, big, strategic decisions can be made, right? And every leader at every layer in the organization is enabled to make decisions. So I gave big example of Amazon. So right now, if you know that lot of I am a consumer who always end up ordering wrong size and I return and order again, right? So if Amazon reads it, then and if this is a common pattern, they can understand that so though the size recommendations are there, right? But maybe it's a time to make the next innovation. So right. Example, there are a lot of consumers who are returning because of the wrong size. Okay. And this might lead to loss of revenue because they might replace it and they might not replace it. And the experience might say that, oh, these products, your online shopping will not work. Let's go offline. So you're losing the customers in this case. Okay. So now there's an opportunity for innovation, that how do you now use all the techniques and technologies to enable the consumer, the moment he's selecting the product, to enable it in very short time to buy the right size.
Okay.
And and then the time has come to move on from the size charts and all, right? So let's see what innovation comes. So I'm just giving an example. Even in an engineering world, when we are serving our internal developers or external customers, many similar patterns can be understood and innovation can be done accordingly. So so this is how innovation happens and decision happens within the organizations,
Yes.
between the organizations.
Right.
And only the technology will not help here, right?
Mhm.
So as I said in the beginning, it has to be a way of life. The culture has to be data driven, because it is a not job of one person or leader or a developer or a platform lead, or a business leader. Everywhere we are creating the data and everywhere we are using the data.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And definitely the customer is also benefiting out of it, right? I mean, like,
Yes, yes, definitely.
yeah.
So the customer, I say, it's hyper local and
Hmm.
hypersensitive, right? So
Hmm.
they want exactly what they want,
Yeah.
and they want right now,
Yeah. Correct.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if your e-com tool or your app is not giving you exactly, so if you have to spend 5 minutes
Hmm.
in the search, and this is getting improving or worsening, I don't know, but this need is increasing generation by generation, right? So
Yeah.
our Gen Z generation and Gen Alpha are much more impatient,
Yeah.
and they are much more tech savvy, so it just doesn't take time for them to switch the apps and switch their preferences.
Correct. Yeah. 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 But definitely, like, I think the coming generation for them, like, online is the way for everything. Like, and so, like, data, and I'm sure then data plays a much bigger role to, like, to keep track of, like, what are their needs, and, what are they looking for, right?
Yes, yes. And as you know, I've worked with teams who've been building recommendation engines, right? So personally, my favorite color is I go for little subtle colors, right?
Hmm.
So if I'm searching for shirt and somebody is showing me bright red, and and if it's not showing me within the first 30 seconds what I want, I might also change my mind to buy it.
Correct.
I might say,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not buying it unless
Yeah.
I see exactly what I want to buy, because that time I'm in a mood
Hmm.
to buy. Okay, something is triggered and I'm in a mood to buy. I'm just clicking the buy button,
Yeah.
but I'm not seeing what I'm buying.
Yeah.
Then the opportunity, that's a loss of opportunity.
Correct. Yeah. Great. So, Sheetal, I think that was like very, very interesting. And, thank you for explaining it so well. Surely, data analytics, as we go further, it plays a very important role in today's world. So, thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights, Sheetal. I truly appreciate the time you've given us. And I look forward to connecting with you soon again on many other such topics.
Thank you, Radhika, and once again, thank you to Think Byte, and hopefully this information will be useful to people who are viewing it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sheetal. Have a great day.
Good day, Radhika.